You might have heard that live shopping is exploding. And I have to tell you, I have been on Whatnot for a couple of weeks now, and I see why it is. Now, Whatnot is my sponsor, and they are the reason I got on the platform and checked it out. I'm glad they did. They made it easy for me. I'm going to make it easy for you. I love it. Whatnot is where you get great products without paying full price. It's that simple. I'm hooked on their live shows, too. You got to see them. They're so much fun. And I see why Whatnot has climbed to the top of the App Store. And listen, if you're selling online, or maybe you have a storefront and you're hoping people will find your listing or maybe walk in your store, Whatnot flips that, because on Whatnot, you go live and you sell directly to people in real time. And I may admit, although you didn't hear from me, I may have picked up a couple of power tools or so in the past couple of days. I'm just saying. Whatnot, it's the largest dedicated live shopping platform with beauty, collectibles, electronics, luxury, fashion, even cookies, and anyone can sell. In fact, people who sell on Whatnot sell 10 times as much as any other major marketplace. That's because you're not just listing products, you're building real connections with buyers. So whether you're shopping or you're selling, download the Whatnot app today and get free shipping on your first order. Just search WHATNOT, Whatnot, in the App Store and start scoring amazing deals. So I was whining to my wife the other day, said, I need new glasses. And she said, well, get some. I couldn't tighten them anymore. They were scratched. You know the thing, right? But I didn't want to go through the process because you have to make the appointment. You have to spend weeks to get them done. And you got to pay a fortune, right? That's real. But I did. I spent $500 on frames and glasses, and that was cheap. And then I ordered a pair from my sponsor, Zenni Optical, for $70. Zenni is an online eyewear shop, prescription glasses, sunglasses, blue light lenses, starting at under $30. You go to Zenni.com, you pick a frame, upload your prescription, and they ship it to your door. No appointment, no store, no upsell at the counter. And by the way, if you are saying, do I really need new glasses, or do I have to put up with one pair to do everything I need to do for the next 2 years? No, you can get what you want starting at under $30. And if you've never bought glasses online, don't worry about it. I haven't either. Zenni has a virtual try-on so you can see exactly how the frame looks before you commit to buying them, with no salesman looking at you saying, those look good, but these expensive ones would look better. No, you don't get that. I'm excited. I can't wait to get my Zenni glasses and tell you more about them. If your glasses are overdue for a refresh, now's the time. Go to Zenni.com/podcast and use the code podcast15 for 15% off your first order. The styles sell out, so don't sit on it. That's Zenni.com/podcast. Promo code podcast15. How are you? Well, come on in. It's good to have you here today. Did you know that there's a reason why sometimes you get stuck and can't get into action and move and all that stuff? You know, and the more successful you are and the more mastery you have, the more likely you are stuck. It's weird, but we can fix it.
I need a boost. I need a daily boost. I need a boost. I need a daily boost.
It is the Daily Boost. It's me, Scott Smith. I study the little things of life that kind of make the difference, not the big stuff. I look at the little stuff because the little stuff kind of leads to the big stuff. And we're going to talk about that today. It's a little half second in time that we can grab a hold of and we can change so much if you are looking for it, okay? Good to have you. Thanks for the hits on Instagram. Hey, Scott Smith is where I am. Scott at dailyboostpodcast.com, my email, and a bunch of people sending emails over to support@motivationtomove.com. That address has been out forever, probably locked up in your email client, but that works too. And they're all saying, hey, man, I want to reinvent myself. In the summertime, I do Operation Reinvention. We're going to do it this year in a very different cohort. A lot bigger and more in depth than I have ever done before. It kind of takes everything I've built on over the years and bring it all together. And I'll tell you more about that. But right now, there's not even a place to register. Now, I'm going to do this workshop. It's going to be about 150 people. That's it. It's not a webinar, by the way. It's not one of those cheesy sales webinars. It's actually a real workshop. It's like what I do for my clients every week. And I'm going to limit it because too many people mess me up. Too few people aren't any fun. So about 150. If you want to make sure you're on that list, just go get on my other list, my notesfromscott.com, where I send an email a couple of days a week. And I'll let you know when this comes out. But you got to show up. You got to promise. If you're registered, you have to show up. And no, I don't even know if I'm doing a replay, but I'll let you know as we get closer, okay? Notesfromscott.com. So when I do what I do here, I'm really not interested in games or hacks or things like that. I just kind of look at the world. I look at what works for other people. I actually look at what works for me, and I say, okay, it works. Let's do it again. So every single thing you hear from me is always going to be that. It's a lifetime of experience and watching people get success, and sometimes in very small ways. I want to give you a hack if I can help you today. I think you're going to like this, okay? As I mentioned last week when we got into Operation Reinvention, I was working with my inner circle call, and I asked them a question, the same reaction came, and it all came within about a half a second. Every single person on the call, I was taken back a little bit. I did not expect the reaction I got. I already mentioned that, right? I want to tell you what I saw, what it's called, and why I think it might be the single biggest thing standing between you and what you really want. It was groundbreaking for me. And I saw it in just real time right in front of me. It wasn't that I saw it in one person. I saw everybody do it at the same time. And I saw this perplexed look in their eyes as they did it. It was just amazing. So on that call, I asked this question. I said, what if you changed everything to get the one thing you really want? And people are afraid of that because it wasn't say one thing and, it was just taking one little change in our life. No, it's change everything. That's scary, right? Half a second, man. Every single one started listing reasons why they couldn't. All 7. Nobody told me why they couldn't. Oh man, I got to talk to my wife. Oh, I don't know how to get the money. One said his mindset was the wrong way. He thought differently. One said he's still living inside the walls. He can't get out. Different people, different situations, same reflex, same speed. I watched it happen and I realized I was looking at something with a name. So they weren't slow. They weren't slow, thoughtful objections. The wall went up in less than half a second. Before they could finish even hearing the question, their brain just suddenly said, stop, started making a case for why they can't. And the speed really told the story. When the resistance shows up that fast, it's not logic, it's reflex. Logic takes time, reflex doesn't. So this isn't a personality flaw I saw. It's not a discipline problem. It has a name, and there's serious research behind this. I know, I went and did the research. In fact, Andrew Huberman at Stanford Neuroscience, he calls it limbic friction, the energy your brain has to burn to overcome internal resistance to change. Stephen Pressfield, have you read his book, The War of Art? He called it resistance with a capital R. Same name, different beast. I'm calling it friction reflex because that's what it acts like, a reflex. It's fast, it's automatic, it's below the surface. You don't decide to have it. It just shows up the second something threatens to shape your life in a different way. So the research is pretty clear on this. The more successful you have been, the worse it gets. Go figure, right? You think that'd be easy. Got all the mastery, you've done really well your whole life, and it's hard for you. I've seen it forever, but now I can name it. Why is this? Because every win that you've had over your life, you've kind of stacked up and reinforced the patterns that got you there. The longer you've been living a good life, the deeper those grooves get cut. The brain has rehearsed the current version of you millions and millions of times. So when somebody asks you to kind of redesign the whole thing or even anything, when you think about it, your nervous system reads it as a threat to you. You're not stuck because you're weak. You're stuck because you're good. Your success is a cage. Have you ever felt that way? I work with a lot of clients. In fact, this is kind of my specialty these days. A lot of folks they've done well in their careers. They're trying to figure out how to get their life back, right? That's kind of my client list these days. That's what I've done my whole life. So I just do what I do. I teach them what I do. The friction reflex doesn't show up wearing a sign that says, I'm afraid to change. It's sneaky. It shows up like it's more mature. The reasons I gave you a minute ago, they're very mature and very adult, aren't they? I have to talk to my wife. I don't know how I'm going to make this work financially. My mind doesn't work that way. There's too much going on right now. I mean, it sounds grown up, doesn't it? Every one of those sentences. It's just grown up wisdom. But it's really kind of a mask, a disguise. The reflex is wearing a costume. What would we call that costume? Maybe a costume of responsibility? So you can't argue with it? Oh, don't you hate that, right? You literally give yourself something you can't argue with. It's not you, it's your brain.
Where is Daredevil?
I'm right here. Don't miss the return of Marvel Television's Daredevil Born Again.
So what's next?
I feel liberated,
We're gonna take this city back.
over medicated.
In an all-new season, now streaming only on Disney+.
They're hunting us. It's time we started hunting them.
I can work with that.
That nobody gives a
This should be tons of fun.
Marvel Television's Daredevil Born Again, now streaming only on Disney+.
The friction reflex, it tells you, I'll tell you what it's not. It's not logistics. It's not schedule. It's not money. It's not timing. It's not other people. It's not. The problem is your identity. This is deep down inside you. It is who you are. Think about it. You've been doing something really well for years and years and years, or even this, you've been doing something not so well for many, many years, and you want to make a change. That friction reflex is still going to show up. Going to stop you. Really resisting the change to your calendar or your income is what it's going to try to do. You're resisting the change to who you've been. Did you hear that? This is hard for people. People love change, but they hate change. I work in the change business. And my job half the time is convincing you that you're not changing. I kind of sneak you into it, okay? Your brain throws up walls. It's protecting a version of you that you built that really has built everything you have right now. And even if that version is kind of exhausted, again, the people I work with, many of them are just bone tired. They've been at it forever. Like, man, I'm doing great, but I can't do this anymore. They're just tired. Naming it as a logistic keeps you stuck. Naming it as an identity gives you a shot to break it. So it doesn't work. Willpower, I'll tell you that. A lot of people think the answer is to push harder, to white knuckle it, to be more disciplined. That's a big word these days. Doesn't work. Doesn't matter. That's why you get frustrated. The research is really clear, and your own life is clear. You can't outrun the friction reflex with effort. It is faster than you every single time, half a second or less, every time. Willpower fails because it's fighting the wrong battlefield. So, how does this actually work for you? Well, the second you feel this resistance kicking in, the second your brain starts handling you and giving you the responsible sounding objection, you got to call it out loud. You just say, that's the friction reflex. That's not me. That's the pattern protecting yourself. Now, naming it doesn't make it disappear. It does not do that. It's like getting a new habit. If you kind of interrupt the pattern for the habit, it's not going to give you the new habit right away, but it's going to stop you from doing the old one. Same thing here. When you just call it out and you feel like, oh man, I can't move forward, that's that friction reflex. What it does, it kind of fills that gap. It puts a half-second space between the reflex and the action, and that space is where you get your life back. It doesn't stop you. So naming it isn't quite enough, I don't think, but you have to kind of always use that space first. I call this, and I've said this oftentimes in my coaching calls working with the people, when I'm trying to get them moving faster, I say, you have to move at the speed of Musk. And I say that because they always look at me like, what? What'd you say? Move at the speed of Musk. Hey, love him or hate him. And some people just got freaked out by him right now, just saying his name. Doesn't matter to me. Watch the speed. When he decides to buy a company, he buys it. He decides to move a factory, he moves it. When he decides to sleep on the floor of an office until the rocket launches, he sleeps on the floor. He doesn't give friction reflex an hour to build the case. He doesn't give it a week. He doesn't give it a quarter. Most of us give our friction reflex a year or 5 years or a decade. Musk gives it half a second. That's a practice. Name the reflex, then move before it can finish the sentence. That's all you have to do, okay? So where do we put this? Well, stop asking yourself, as I go about changes in my life, little itty bitty things. I used to be a fan of the one thing, I still am, but it's a whole lot bigger than I think I used to see it as. A lot of times we micro-focus into the one thing, so we ask that question, what's the one thing I should change? Well, here's the thing. The question is too small. The friction reflex eats that alive. You'll spend the rest of your life optimizing for one thing at a time and wondering why life is just running you over and you're not getting what you want. And have you noticed all these one things tend to overlap? That confuses you. That's why if we pull back a little bit and go bigger, look at the bigger picture, it changes. When I ask you that question, what if I changed everything to get the one thing I really want last week? That's what got these people all like, well, the friction reflex kicked in. When Scott, I have to change everything? Ultimately, about 4 days later, I refined that question. I said, well, no, what I mean by that is we're not going to change everything, but we're going to look at everything. Everything is on the table. It's fair game. It's in the game. We're going to look at it all, and then we're going to get rid of the stuff that's not working and leave what looks really good. The picture on the box top of a jigsaw puzzle, that's what we're looking for. That question is too big to dismiss with reasonable objections. It demands a real answer. And the real answer isn't another tweak. It's a redesign to whatever you got going on the whole life, right? Which is exactly what your friction reflex has been hiding from you. So think about it today. As you go out, you're going to see this. You're going to run right into this maybe 15 or 100 times all day long today. Go out and just notice when you feel like you want to get in motion, get going, and suddenly you just can't. Notice it first, and then right away after that, you say, that's the friction reflex. And you're going to see it's going to interrupt that pattern, and you're going to keep yourself going, keep in momentum. That's how we do these things, all right? All right, let's have a great day. I'll be back tomorrow with more cool stuff right here on the Daily Boost.